So hi guys, so this is part 2 of my trip and visit to Chatham Docklands. The weather was absolutely terrible. If you've watched part 1 you'll see that obviously the Rx10 was got rather soaked, and obviously the slow motion raindrops and things like that, so it's just the same opening scene just so you could kind of get your head back around it. Like I say, absolutely a bit of a harsh day, but actually having the moody clouds and everything like that really made the scenery work. It's sometimes much better than having like just a blue sky. A blue sky with nothing in it, no clouds, no nothing, can actually be quite boring. So the fact that we had moody clouds, heavy downpours every now and again, it kind of added to the day really. Even though it did get quite wet, but it is what it is. It's English weather. You can't guarantee it ever. So so here's just one of the first pictures that obviously you've seen probably in the first video when I arrived, and that's how lovely. I imagine they're granite paving slabs, very shiny when they get wet. And here's the battleship and everything. So just a few shots here, and then you'll see some more photos as we look through. A lot more than obviously the first video. So this is where obviously you'll see the photography side of things, and then me just walking around and enjoying sort of cool scenery. So hope you enjoy. So the real world battery test, I've done 309 shots. I don't know if you can see that. 309 shots. We're down to 1% battery life. I've done, also including the 309 shots, I've probably done 15 HFR slow motion videos, a little bit of other video as well, just panning shots. And it's still on the first battery, and it'd be interesting to see how long it keeps going for, because I know they go for a little bit longer than they say. So while I was wandering around, there's obviously some modern buildings in the distance and things that I was looking at as well. Obviously this shot here zoomed in, worked quite nicely with obviously an old school building with a clock on it. Mirror shots, there wasn't that many opportunities to get anything really good, because unfortunately there's lots of light light poles, I suppose you want to call them, with big floodlights on top. Here's that glass panel looking straight down. Apparently that's where they used to bring the propeller up when they were on sail. So if they were using the sails to power, they would lift up the propeller out of the water because it creates less drag. Here's a bit of a rainy shot with some of the old rail stock and a crane there, which is quite cool. It's quite industrial, especially with the stuff in the distance, which is obviously more modern. Here's the big sort of battleship, which is kind of cool, looking straight down the chain, which worked quite nicely. All these are shots still at ISO 100, anywhere between 24mm and 600, and it's just worked quite nicely. The only place the Rx10 struggled was inside the ship, where it was quite dark, and I didn't really want to use flash, so I upped the ISO for this one here, ISO 400, but my shutter speeds are like down to 1/30th of a second, stuff like that, but still quite easy to handhold. Outside again, random shot I know, but it was just a life buoy there. Just looking at the depth really, that's at 600mm, but that bit behind is only 10 feet away, maybe less, so it didn't actually blur out that much. It's now showing like battery exhausted kind of sign, but it's still going. Little boat, don't know whose it is. Whole thing there. Some kind of bunker. So we can't go in because a big beefy door on it. So back over to the submarine. I was going to go on the submarine, but they booked all the tickets already booked because they've got schools and stuff here, so unless I want to wait another sort of 2 hours. But I've been on it before, and I've got a yearly ticket, so I can always come back. That's a cool view from here, actually. So apparently ships weren't the driest things in. Is that glass? Sorry, look at that piece of glass. Wow, what the hell? That's nuts. Whoa, that is crazy. Madness. Right. Oh, no, it's still working. Just block the thing there. That's nuts. Whoa. I don't actually want to stand on it. That's crazy. That's really cool. I thought it'd be downstairs somewhere, but obviously straight into the water. So this is quite ironic. We've got a warning wet floor sign outside. Just shows you the mentality of the world today. Quite amusing. Here we go, some fake rockets. Obviously they can't have real ones on there, and that just gives you an idea of what sort of missiles you would probably have ready to be fired off the battleship there. That was just shot at about 100mm down, from a couple of floors down, looking up. Here's one of the old cranes, obviously used to unload and load the ships with. And looking down the side of the boat now with the sort of one of the lifeboats. But the water down here on the right hand side was absolutely amazing, super clear. And apparently they'd dredged and cleaned all of the bottom, and I don't know what they did to it. I think they changed the water regularly, apparently. Keeps it clear. Castle over the other side of the river, which is quite cool. Quite like to go and visit that, actually. I think that's Rochester Castle. I'll have to double check on that, but I think it is. Back on the Cavalier battleship. I'm guessing this is some kind of radar-y thing. I'm not really quite sure. But there was two of them, one to the right as well. Obviously helped with obviously locking those missiles onto. This was quite a few other people wandering around the cameras, but there was a big group of people. Anybody from in a wheelchair. So this gentleman here obviously lost his leg somehow. I don't know if they're ex-military or something like that, but they're obviously enjoying themselves. He's got one of those sort of crystal balls he was shooting through. It was quite interesting to see. Here's just one of the shots with the crane there and the reflection down in the water. It stopped raining, I'd imagine, while I was there for 2 or 3 hours. I don't know, maybe for half an hour period or something in between bits and pieces. This is shot inside, no flash, handheld, quite a low shutter speed. And this is looking through one of the portholes, but actually through the glass. It just shows you how badly made the glass is, because it was literally just not particularly clear to look through. This is in one of the captain's cabin, shall we say. Quite interesting little place. There's lots of different things in there. It's obviously left as a sort of the era it was. It's quite interesting. Some old things in there. This was another, I think it was like a sergeant's room or something like that. Had loads of different things in there. Obviously part for uniforms and things like that. They'd obviously keep in tip-top condition back then. This is a wide-angle view. So the previous shot was at 600mm, looking at the area there on the bed, and you can see all the stuff in there in that room. It's, I don't think it was very quiet in there, because obviously he had speakers and stuff in there, obviously to be shouted at if he was needed. Here's one of the shots of the kitchen. Massive mixing machine there, and other bits and pieces. Very basic back then, but an industrial big mixing machine like that is obviously very helpful. This was, I can't remember which area this was in. Obviously typewriter, telephone, so obviously taking notes and communications of some sort. But back of the days of typewriters. Looking into, I think, the galley area, or staff galley. Lots of lockers and even hammocks above the tables. So if you obviously had lots of extra space there. Looking over where the submarine, from the submarine over to the other ship there. Just an interesting view, but as you can see there, it's raining again. in shot. You can see the rain droplets over the sort of where the there you go. You can see here front element is absolutely soaked. So I was constantly trying to keep the front element dry of the lens, and because it was relatively windy, it wasn't ridiculously windy, it was enough to just blow the rain around a bit, so constantly trying to keep the thing dry. Here are the unimpressed pigeons that weren't appreciative of the rain. They just sat in the rain with their eyes shut. So yeah, not too impressed with them. They were quite wet, which was a little bit amusing. Then I got them to fly away in a little bit of slow motion, which you've already seen. And just another crane shot there with the one of the clock towers behind. Like I say, all shot sort of ISO 100 to 400, everything from 24mm 600, and most of the f-stops around about f4 to 5.6, and then one panoramic, which is this shot here. But all in all, it's quite nice. This shot here is actually, and it just proves the point where if you shut the lens down too much, this was at f13, the image is actually relatively soft on the building, so it just shows you do lose sharpness eventually. This shot here, as I've written up there, 600mm f4 ISO 100, but one handheld 1/15 of a second, so very very slow shutter speed, but actually still nice and sharp. So it just shows you it's quite good. This is one of that big room again. Amazing woodwork. I mean, just look at the beams and stuff like that. It's amazing, and all the windows and everything like that. Just really light room. It's such a pleasant place to be. Really, just a nice. It's relatively. I mean, there's a couple of other those photographers are up there. There's a couple of guys in the wheelchair, and another gentleman walking around with them, all discussing and taking photos. And just the amount of light that was coming in, it was just a lovely place to be. Considering it was chucking down with rain outside, you wouldn't have known it just because the amount of light that was coming in. It just didn't think, and you couldn't really hear the rain. To be fair, I think the building's so big that it just didn't make any difference. Back to the car. So. Okay. Still same battery, and we are showing 0 shots left. It's still going. So I'll just take a few. 393, and they say average shot. Plus I've done all that videoing as well, so just kind of cool. So guys, that was sort of my day out. I sort of covered as much as I possibly could there. This is just a quick snap of the car and the under sort of cover parking. It was just a cool sort of old industrial building, so I thought actually it works quite nicely. So it's just a quick snap of the car. Anyway, hope you like that. Please subscribe, please click the notification bell, and be some more videos coming soon.